It is now my pleasure to introduce the top two students in the class of 2017. I would ask our salutatorian McKinley Mueller to please stand. And I would ask our valedictorian Kieran LaMee to also stand and to join me on the stage so we can hear some words of wisdom from one smart guy.
Hi. Often when my friends and family come to town, I spend most of my conversation bragging about this school. I'm so thankful for all the wonderful, charismatic teachers, the high-achieving classmates, the outstanding administration, and everyone else involved in making this all possible. Thank you so very much, everyone who's here. Alright. One of my favorite things that I found while perusing the internet for opening ideas is this quote from Billy Collins. Billy says, "I'm going to speak for 13 minutes. I think you deserve to know that this will be a finite experience. It is well known in the world of public speaking that there is no pleasure you can give an audience that compares to the pleasure they get when it is over. So you can look forward to experiencing that pleasure 13 minutes from now. Luckily, I will be speaking for about half that time. You're welcome." Mr. Nykirk just looked at his watch to make sure I'm accurate. There's a problem that I ran into while writing this speech. I'm not wise enough to advise you. The other day at scholarship night, Miss Rowe drew attention to the fact that the final stair to the stage is slightly higher, and that we should be careful to not trip over it. You know it's coming. I didn't. So, thinking that I was so above that kind of warning, I thought I'd save the audience tedious time of watching someone walk across the stage. So I confidently glided up the first few stairs, even skipping a step or two. Wow, I was cool. About to receive my handshake and certificate, but at the final stair when I had almost completed my impressive performance of swiftness and efficiency, I caught the tip of my toe on the top step, earning a gasp from the audience and a facepalm from my family and friends. In a later recount, Mr. Freeman said that he counted 7 flips through the air before I landed. As you can see, I'm not wise. Yet here I stand with the task of giving you a memorable, inspiring experience that will send you with momentum into the next stage of your life, as if I have something important to tell you, as if I am qualified to teach you lessons about life. I also am 18. You see the problem. So I'm going to talk about a moral issue that I face every day, to which I have no solution. The issue is this. The way I judge myself, in comparison to the way I judge other people, is full of inconsistencies. I am not logical in the way that I justify myself and criticize others. Here's a quote. "Too often, we judge other groups by their worst examples, while judging ourselves by our best intentions." When I tell people this, they are often surprised to find that my favorite quote is one by George W. Bush. I tended to judge George W. Bush a lot. I judged based on his worst examples. Additionally, when I'm driving to school and realize I didn't annotate that worksheet I was supposed to, my mind turns to immediate self-pity. I do not judge myself for spending my time playing video games instead of doing something actually useful. I give myself the benefit of the doubt. It was not my fault that I forgot to annotate clearly. Maybe I should call in sick. I need a day to catch up on all this homework I've been assigned. My teachers are so unfair. Don't they know who I am? This to me is perfectly intuitive. I deserve pity. Yet when my twin sister Genevieve does an almost identical thing, I am undoubtedly going to judge her laziness. She should have thought ahead. Doesn't she care about her education? There is a clear flaw in my judgment of self in comparison to my judgment of others, but here is my problem. There must be some way for me to convey to you a wisdom in a few short words, something for you to slap quotation marks around and hang on your refrigerators. But I'm not qualified to be a moral guide. Besides, never have I had my moral compass tilted for more than a few moments after being inspired by a speech or a quote. Even if I were to find a perfect ethical framework, I'm not capable of aligning my own morals to some refrigerator quote. Some days I wake up in the morning and walk downstairs to see that I have no milk left. Then I slam the refrigerator out of frustration and find the live, love, laugh sign. When I see this, my day is not changed for the better instantly. I'm not affected by immediate, joyful carpe diem. The sign cannot possibly understand the circumstances of my clearly justified frustration. I never base my decisions on Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative, or make a pro and con list, or ask myself WWBD, what would Beyonce do? On my birthday last year, it was the first day I was legally allowed to drive other people around. I was a bad driver, but being the model brother that I am, when my sister asked for a ride to the bank, I proudly obliged. Naively obliged. At first, everything was going well. We made it there safely, but then as it pulled up to the bank, I was faced with a difficult task. Now let me explain. Parking is the hardest thing I've ever had to learn. I spent most of my few months avoiding parking lots. Moving the wheel side to side on a winding road is simple enough, but you have to be precise and delicate when parking. Tension was high, my pride was on the line, and there were 2 cop cars facing my direction with policemen talking to each other. This was my time to prove my worth as a driver. Immediately I got my front left wheel over a protruding curb. This was not a regular, forgiving sidewalk curb. This was a curb that on the other side had a 10-inch drop into a flower bed. I immediately panicked and tried backing up, but because of the drop-off, I was stuck over the edge, moving back and forth and repeatedly crushing an innocent lilac bush into non-existence. My sister was crying with laughter, and my heart rate was over 200 as I scraped the bottom of my Subaru on the concrete. I looked over, and the cops were still having their conversation, not having noticed the Bank Flora massacre. Luckily, I managed to slam my foot on the gas and get control of the situation without being noticed by the cops. My pride and the lilac bush were left in a jumbled, decimated heap. But this is an example of judgment of self. This wasn't my fault. I hadn't been driving for long, the parking spot was a weird one, the pressure was high, I felt bad for myself. It was scary and panic-inducing. I know, however, that if I were an outside observer, I would have judged this reckless, stupid, oblivious teenage driver who was vandalizing the bank's beautiful, meticulously crafted flower bed. Likewise, just the other day I was outraged when my parking spot neighbor parked 3 inches into my spot. What an idiot. Maybe it is naive to believe I'm not alone in this matter. The point is, the idea that I judge myself based on intentions and others based on actions feels wildly important to me. Yet I have no idea how to implement a change. But this is what I've decided. I think this is an issue impossible to tackle even in the context of other philosophical questions. It is one that is unbelievably helpful to try anyway. The extent of my 18-year-old wisdom is that the most important thing morally is to constantly question your judgment. As a class, it would be an enormous achievement in itself if we could go into the world as thoughtful, self-aware, and empathetic people who do not seek immediate satisfaction without considering the larger consequence, who do not judge themselves on intention and others on action. People who question themselves. I would like to end on a final "you're welcome," for the speech has come to a long-awaited end. I hope that it has felt like a finite experience, just as I promised 7.5 minutes ago. How'd I do, Mr. Nykirk? Congratulations, class of 2017, on an amazing 4 years, and thank you.
So, could we please have a round of applause for for the mothers and fathers of those graduating seniors. Parents, I know just how you feel. My son and last child graduates today. It's a great day, but it's a tough day as well. You might think, if you were principal of a high school and your kid was in that school, how much more on top of his or her high school career you would be. You would be so wrong. But to have your children in your place of work for 4 years, it's been a kick. Students, my days of giving you advice are over. You're going to miss me. In the last 18 years or so, your parents, your teachers, and the world around you have worked together to install in you your own very special app, the Life Coach. It's located at the back of your skull, conveniently close to your ears. I, of course, have one. It tells me, don't have that third slice of pizza. Go to bed earlier. Be nicer to the teachers. Don't make the assistant principals do all the work. When I listen to it, I feel good. When I don't listen, I feel bad. You will be tempted at times to turn the volume down or even switch it off. But I'm not going to give you any advice on that. That's your choice. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you that the students seated before you have met or exceeded the requirements of the Roaring Fork School Board of Education and are ready to receive their diplomas.
Lindsey Busk, next year will be attending San Diego State University. May Ella Langburn.
You may now move your tassel from left to right. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2017.
Song I wrote, you might want to sing it note for note, don't worry.